and welcome! Today we will use one-shoulder dress pattern. You can download it from the link in the description. We are starting to sew a one-sleeve dress and have chosen such a thin cotton fabric, light for summer. Here we will need a side zipper, elastic for one sleeve, threads and lining. Our dress consists of several panels. The back will be one whole piece, which I have folded at the edge. The side part, right and left, will consist of two pieces, which I have also folded, and the front part will be one piece, so I placed it on the right side. The front skirt also consists of two parts, so I folded it double. The front part of the reliefs consists of one piece, so I will cut them one by one, both right and left. Also, our front, back and sleeve consist of one piece. The top part of our dress will be on the lining, so I'm now starting to sew darts on the back, on the base and on the lining. Now I'm pinning our darts. And I will be stitching. I usually stitch from bottom to top. After stitching one dart, I apply it to the second and mark where my second dart will end. I pin with needles. Here the second dart will end, they will be uniform. After stitching our darts, I go to iron. I start on the front piece. I stitch the relief seams at 1 cm, both the first and the second. First, I will sew the front side. Chest area, we have a slight fitting under the bust. We distribute it. I stitch everything at 1 cm. I pinned the front part, I also pinned our lining. The seams will be inside. From the front side of the lining, everything will be covered. stitching our reliefs by a centimeter, it turns out as follows, then we iron. Having prepared our top, next I stitch the side seams at 1 cm and attach the sleeve. After stitching the seams, I iron them. Now I am connecting the side seams at 1 cm on the face and on the lining. We are stitching the sleeve at 1 cm. I had previously serged the sleeve on the overlocker, next we iron. We have prepared our front part. Now I proceed the armhole and the sleeve itself. The sleeve will have a gathering. I make two lines along the entire sleeve cap as follows. One line at 0.5 and next it another at 0.3 cm. I laid two lines and now I will be connecting our side seams in the middle with the shoulder joint. Now I must gather everything with the fitting. Pull out two threads, start gathering them, distribute the fitting. I got it even already. Now I must distribute all this fitting. We stitched the sleeve, and we got such a gathering. Having made the sleeve, we now connect the top part with the lining, pin and sew at 1 centimeter. Stitch it. Now turn it out and give a stitch by the lining at 0.1 centimeter from the side seam in a circle to the second side seam by the lining. And now we iron everything. Next, I close our armhole. I turned out the armhole pin connecting the side seams. And next, I now carefully turning it to the shoulder seam, connect. And now, from the side seam, I stitch to the shoulder. I just stitched it all and turn it out to the other side, and already from the shoulder seam to the side seam stitch it all. The lower part of the armhole gathers, so in several places it needs to be notched to give us freedom. Proceed to assemble our skirt. The skirt consists of 3 parts, 2 side parts and the front part. On the right side we will have a slit. We made the slit from the waist 37 cm and placed a notch. Connect the waist and the notch and make a seam at 1 cm. The second side I completely pin and make a seam at 1 cm. I pinned in several places and lay a seam. I will process our seams on the overlocker separately up to the notch, even at 1.5 cm. The second part I serge together 2 parts. Thus, one side was serged together, iron in the middle. The second side processed up to the slit. Next, we iron. Next, I will now iron our slit at 0.5 cm. Having ironed our slit, I sew everything at 0.1 cm. Here at 0.5 cm above the seam I stitch. That's how our slit turned out. We gather the back half of the skirt, stitch at 1 cm and serge on the overlocker. We finished our back half and now we proceed to the side seam. Connect the back and the front. Now I connect the front and the back. One side I connect at a centimeter and process with the overlocker. The second part. The side part I process on the overlocker separately, the back and the front. Thus, we got one side seam, and the second now I connect the waist. Connect the waist. The top part I connect with the bottom. The side seam I connect with the side seam. Also, the relief seams I already connect with our skirt seams. Connected the waist. I now sew at 1 centimeter. Having connected the waist, we proceed to the zipper from the side seam. Having connected our waist, I now measure where our zipper will end. We will have concealed zipper. We check it and apply it somewhere at 0.5 cm below the top. I measure where our zipper will end. Approximately at this place we will finish. I leave a needle as a mark for myself. Having marked where our zipper ends, below I sew at 1 centimeter. Now I pin our zipper. And we will be sewing next to the zipper. stitched. Now cut off the zipper. I turn it out and now I cut off the excess to not create thickness here. Turn it out. That's how our lining turned out, and we close the second side. I closed everything with the lining, our zipper. Now I will be closing our waist with the lining from the side seam. Now I inwardly lay the seam. Turn it out to hide the seam, connecting the side seams to the other side seam. Now from the side seam along the waist I will be connecting to the second dart. Thus, we closed our waist. We got such hole on the side part, where we'll be closing them manually with a needle. Everything else is already sewn. Now we are processing the hem. The hem we process, iron at 0.5 cm and also 0.5 cm and make a stitch at 0.1 cm. To make our hem more even, I decided to draw 1 cm. Thus, our hem turned out clean, just like the slit. Next, we move to our sleeve. Now I want to serge our sleeve and iron at 1.5 cm and give a stitch at 1 cm. Thus, I stitched the sleeve and now I will be inserting an elastic there, to keep the elastic from slipping. I will now secure it here, as it's very small. Inserted the elastic. We align, such as our sleeve hem. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. You can also download the pattern for this dress from the link in the description.